Hey, Mike from Metro Trails coming at you with some more stuff. We are in the Wings section of the South Branch Reservation between Clinton and Flemington. And this is one of my favorite rivers and one of my favorite riverslide preserves. We are in the South Branch Reservation comprises several different park areas that are named differently for wherever they happen to be. And the Wings section is named for William Wing, who was a farmer that used to own a lot of the property out here. The only downside to some of this area is that it's full of all of this multiflora rose. Nearby is the Hunterdon Arboretum, which used to be a tree nursery. And it was supposedly the first place that multiflora rose was ever imported, where it was marketed as a natural fence. And so that would make sense because this whole area is completely overrun with multiflora rose. Here's a spot where the trail kind of turns inland. There's a little footbridge over here to the right. This time of year it gets to be pretty bad. The parks are severely understaffed. All parks pretty much are. But this is actually a dead-end trail. There's two parallel ones that come together. It goes out to a peninsula. It's a beautiful spot. If you're a fisherman or woman, you can come out and check it out because it's a really nice private stretch. But there's some history over here too, because this wasn't just a trail. This was the old road, predecessor to present-day Route 31 or even Route 69 before that. So you go through the weeds here. Not an official trail here, just a fishing access. It used to be the main trail years ago. But as you see over here, if I can get out to where I can see it better, here's one of the piers. The one abutment is totally overgrown. Here's where, if I can get out, here's some sycamore branches here. Roots, I mean. Here's where the road used to cross over. We got a train over there that's on the former Lehigh Valley Railroad. They got a passing track over there because it's double tracked in this area. It gets a lot of freight use. Let's have a look over here. Maybe we'll get a better view. Yeah. Here's where the bridge used to be. Really nice little spot here. So anyway, this used to be the main through trail. Sometimes you can find some of the abandoned earlier trail alignments too, which if you look over here on this tree here, you got a metal in there. That used to be orange. All the orange paint's worn off. That was when former Hunterdon County Park employee from years ago, Peter Buell, was laying out a trail system. He had a major trail plan set up for the area that never came to pass, unfortunately, but would have been really cool. Multiflora rose here. Mr. Buell set up a lot of the trails through the area. Part of the trail that traverses Round Mountain just to the north of here, which connects with all of this. Very interconnected trail system. Part of that trail is called the Peter Buell Trail for him. And this trail could technically go all the way through to Clinton. Easements were set up over the pieces of private property adjacent to the rivers so that they could do this. But they don't have the staffing, and not enough people want to really take it on. Got some beautiful maple trees in this area. This one here is a giant sugar maple. There's a lot of really nice sugar maples to the area, and they've historically tapped them. The park system has tapped them over at nearby Echo Hill. They have a really nice maple sugaring program. when I worked here, I had the pleasure of collecting and helping with. It's a very interesting time. So, yeah, this is the wings section. And it's a beautiful walk through here. They try to get it mowed, but they don't have as much help as they used to. But I'll give a shout out to some of the even the rangers here get out and walk the properties, and I think Warren and Scott are still there. And really good guys working to do the best for the parks that we can. And you got Tom Shepard has actually been stepping up ever since the pandemic and doing a whole lot of trail work too. I've been out in the woods and seen some spots that were really kind of in rough shape and under-maintained for a long time, and he did a nice job of bringing them back. So this isn't bad in here. It's gotten in the past to the point that you couldn't pass through anymore, but they're doing the best they can with it. You can see Route 31 coming up over here, which is also a really cool little spot. I've been to the other side over here, and it looks like there are remnants of more bridge abutments closer to 31, possibly another earlier alignment. Route 31 used to be Route 69. Before that, it was Route 30. They changed it from Route 30 because there was already a Route 30 in South Jersey. And then it changed it from Route 69 because everybody was stealing the street signs. I couldn't have that. So, I know a couple people out there still have Route 69 signs hanging in their garages and such. They're still around. And you got another one of Pete Buell's old trailblazes there. This is an orange trail, but that one's not orange anymore, obviously. Here's a somewhat obscure side path that leads you out to Deer Path Road. And here is Route 31. The trail comes right out under this. Very cool little spot. Watch some of these plants here. You got some stinging nettle down here. These plants are full of little hairs that put a stinging histamine stuff into your skin. You don't want to step into that. I don't get poison ivy, but everybody gets stinging nettle. So here we are. We're looking at the south branch of the Raritan River, directly under Route 31. Another nice little spot. You got a rock dove up there, what we normally call a pigeon. Now this trail used to go through, and it used to be on the maps, but part of the problem we have here was when Conrail had the railroad up here, they allowed for the trail to cross at a couple of points. But then when it became Norfolk Southern, it took them a few years, but eventually they forced the closure of the trail system because they didn't want any crossing. So that's very unfortunate. I have been trying to encourage friendlier talks among railroaders and trail people. There's a lot of hatred between these two groups, and I find myself in both pools. Obvious that this trail here is not any impediment to a railroad, but unfortunately we have some people that are trying to rip up active rails in favor of putting trails in. And that is not something that people want to see. So here we have, this is the end over here of Packers Island. So we have this problem. How do we address it? I think it would be good for the railroad to have some kind of a safe pedestrian spot. The fact of the matter is you can't steer a train, but you also can't brake a train. So it's gonna hit you, and it's gonna hit you. You gotta not dodge the train. You can't stop as quickly as a car. But at the same time, a sidewalk is more dangerous than a railroad. That's just the facts of physics. But because of how ridiculous we've gotten in liability these days, it leads to some of these trails being closed. We're seeing it up in New York State, up at Scunnamunk. The Long Path and the Highlands Trail, two of our most major long-distance trail systems in both New York and New Jersey, were closed because of the railroad. And people trespassing. Mostly at a nearby trestle, but it ends up being a problem. So, how do we take care of this? I don't know. But it would be nice if we had some means. I think I missed my turn off over here. So the trail actually goes onto the island, or it used to. And it used to be maintained by the equestrian group over here. But hasn't been in some time. Mostly because they can't legally cross the tracks. So there needs to be a legal means before they can reopen the trail. But you used to be able to walk the trail all the way through from here up toward Echo Hill. It would take you out to the Stanton Station section of the South Branch Reservation on continuous Orange Blaze Trail. The blazes are still out there, but there's sections of it that get to be some of the most dense bits of multiflora rose I've ever seen, and also the most ticks I've ever had. So some people avoid this area because there's where the trail used to go right there. So I'm going to go around it. Right there's the trail goes in. So I got, walking through this section, in about 15 minutes, I got 43 ticks. That's the most I've ever counted on myself at one time. My group and I were having a little contest to see who got the most. So anyway, with all the flooding and stuff like that, there's a good way down here. It's gotten pretty bad. I guess this is the best way. But I don't think any horses have been using it anymore. So I'll show you that the trail is still marked here, if you're willing to do any of this. And it's not really deep. A lot of times it's only ankle deep. Okay. Now we're on Packers Island. It looks like the trail is getting to be pretty much gone. Maybe they finally did take the blazes out. Which is a shame, because this was just such a great section. I think it was still on some of the old NJ Trails Association maps through here. Anyway, it's a really nice, quiet spot. I had actually painted some of the blazes out here too, so it looked like they're pretty much gone. Wonder if they're still together. 96, 2001, and 2002. But anyway, there's a little bit of history, there's some thoughts on the area, and hopefully one day we can see through the silliness of all of this, and we can open up some really fantastic greenways again, like we used to have, because this was just a special place. Anyway, till next time.